Hi there, you're watching another Saasu training video. This video will cover PayPal transactions and methods to manage it using the bank feeds tool. To get started, what we want to do is just to check that our PayPal account has been set up correctly. To do this, we shall go to the View menu option and select Bank Accounts. In our bank accounts list, we will find and click on the PayPal account. And here we want to make sure the code merchant fee to account option has been selected. It's typically an expense account, but just double check with your accountant or bookkeeper for the correct expense account to use. This will be the account where all PayPal fees will be posted directly to. Once we've verified that the merchant fee account and the PayPal account setup is correct, we shall go to the bank feed screen and start working on the transaction. Here is the PayPal bank feed screen. In this screen, we can see some existing data that has previously been imported through a spreadsheet that we downloaded from PayPal earlier. We can see that there are some blue transactions, which are suggestions that indicate to us that we have previously entered some sales payments or sales invoices into the system. To double check this, let's go to our sales screen. And we can immediately see that around the 1st of February, there were indeed two transactions for $28.80. One is being fully paid and the other is still owing. So let's open up these invoices and have a look at what they're referring to. I prefer to open them in new tabs so that I can easily navigate between the two windows. This is our first invoice, and there's a summary called Happy Meals. We have a total figure of $28.80 and a payment made. So let's have a look at this payment. Okay, in this screen we can see that it is for Happy Meals for the amount of $28.80 and a fee of 99 cents, which gives us a net amount of $27.81. Let's go back to the bank feeds page now, and we'll double check if this amount shows. Okay, we can verify that actually both transactions on the 1st of February is $27.81. Now I'm going to bring up the spreadsheet that I imported from PayPal, and here it is. On the 1st of February, there were indeed two transactions, both with a gross amount the same, less the fee, giving us a net amount of $27.81. Okay, so let's go back to the bank feed screen. What we want to do now is to make sure that the Happy Meals payment matches to the Happy Meals bank feed entry. So what I will do is I will change this value to the gross value that we know is $28.80. Once I've entered the figure in, I will press the Tab key on your keyboard to save the changes. Now you can see that it's giving us a much more accurate picture of the transaction. We've got the gross amount, the fee amount, then the banked net amount. I could easily click on the tick to match it because I know that the Happy Meals transaction equals to the sale payment for Happy Meals here. Or if you want to make sure that you are matching it to the correct invoice, you can also search for a sale payment, as the invoice has already been marked as paid. And you can see that the results come up immediately, and I will select the results, Happy Meals in the description and Happy Meals for the invoice. I'm happy with this selection, so I will click on Reconcile against selected. And that will remove the transaction from my inbox and move it into the match section. Now I have a few more to work on. The second one is the other transaction on the 1st of February. Now let's bring up that invoice. Here it is. L Teal for $28.80 and no payments have been made yet. We can manually click on Pay to pay out this invoice, or the quickest way is using the bank feed section to mark this as paid. So let's go back to the bank feed screen again. Here we can see the amount in question. What I want to do is reflect the transaction accurately by showing the gross amount less the fee, giving us a net total. So I've entered in the gross amount. I'm going to press Tab on the keypad, and that will save the transaction. Now that this has been updated, we can see that a suggestion has come up for a sale for LTL. Now all we need to do is click on this tick to match the suggestion, and that will move the transaction into the match section once again. Just to make sure that that transaction has been recorded successfully, let's go back into the sales invoice. Here is the invoice for LTL, and we can see that the payment has already been recorded. We can click on the edit button, and that will take us into the receive payment screen, where you can see the gross amount less the fee equals the bank's amount. We can now verify that this invoice has been marked paid correctly. Now going back to the bank feed screen, we can see that there are still 6 more transactions we can work through. Now, there hasn't been any suggestions made, possibly because we have not previously entered the invoices. So what we can simply do is, at the bank feed stage, create a new invoice. But before we do this, remember we should be applying the fee. So as I refer back to my spreadsheet, I can see that the amount $561.88 had a $14.12 fee applied, giving us the gross amount of $576. So I'll go back into the bank feed screen and change this figure to 576. Press the tab key on my keyboard, and that will give me the net amount. And just to verify, 561.88 is the net amount and 14.12 is the fee amount. Now to create a sales invoice from this screen, as there isn't one existing, I'm going to click on the plus sign rather than the magnifying for search. I'm going to click the plus to create, and I'm going to create a service sale, which is equivalent to a sales invoice. So I'm going to select the account for this sale, and I'm not going to enter in a contact or a tag, but you can at this stage if you like. As I'm happy with this result, I'm going to click on Create Service Sale with Payment. We have received confirmation that it was categorized successfully. Let's go into our sales page just to double check that that entry has been made. Okay, in the main sales page, we can see that on the 7th of February, an invoice has been created for $576, which has been paid in full. Let's open the invoice and have a look at this. Here's the invoice contents. We can see that it's a Hobart Boats transaction. The amount is $576 gross, and there is a payment. So let's look at the payment just to double check that it's been entered correctly. Okay, we can see here the gross amount less the fee equals the bank amount. Let's bring up our statement, and we can verify that this transaction has been recorded correctly. Now back in the bank feed screen, we can see there are 5 more transactions, and all we need to do now is work through the list, changing the dollar value from net to gross so that we can capture the PayPal fee correctly, and we can create the sales invoices within the same screen.